The Red Sox are putting together one heck of an international class. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and in today's video, we are breaking down the biggest signings the Red Sox have made on the international free agent stage and how this could impact the future of the Boston Red Sox. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so for those of you who may just be a little lost right now, Corbin, where are these international players coming from? Yesterday, the international signing period for Major League Baseball opened up, meaning that teams were free to sign their international free agent prospects. Guys like Devers, Bayo, Rafaela, they all came up through this process, and the Red Sox signed some really exciting players. So far, during this international draft, they have signed 26 prospects, and that list is going to grow. Just take a look at the list from 2024. There are a ton of names on here. Now, obviously, we can't go through all 26 that the Red Sox have signed. It would be a 3-hour video, so we're just going to sort of go over the highlights here, and there are some really, really cool ones. The first one being the number 8 overall prospect and the highest signing bonus the Red Sox gave out to one Dorian Soto, who is a switch-hitting shortstop. And before I see the Red Sox are just adding more shortstops, great comments in the comment section, I want you guys to remember, these are 16 or 17-year-olds. Think back to your days playing high school baseball. Where did the best player on the field play? Shortstop or center field. That's where most of these guys played because they were the best in their respective areas, right? That's just simply how it goes. That does not mean that every single player the Red Sox signed in this draft, from the position player side of thing, is going to end up being a center fielder or shortstop at the major league level. In fact, a lot of these guys end up moving off the position and can play basically anywhere else on the diamond. It is a smart thing to pick up the 16, 17-year-old who's so athletic he's playing shortstop in his area. It's a smart move by the Boston Red Sox. Go after the most athletic and figure out where to go. Now that I got that out of the way, let's get back to Dorian Soto. Now, the reason Soto was so highly touted in this international free agent period is because of what his hit tool could look like. According to a few different scouts that we took a look at, including Sox Prospect and Baseball America, he has a ton of power. Due to the fact that he already has a ton of bat speed for just 16 years old, combine that with the fact that his swing decisions are already described as advanced for his age. Now, that is a little bit of a caveat because a lot of the reason why a player gets told they have an advanced plate approach is because they can handle off-speed pitches. A lot of players at 16 or 17 years old naturally struggle a bit at hitting anything other than a fastball. Soto doesn't seem to have that much of a problem. His ceiling offensively is astronomical, especially as he starts to put on real muscle mass. We're talking about a guy who could hit 20, 25, 30 home runs at the big league level. That's what scouts are saying could be his potential hit tool ceiling. If that's from a switch hitter who also has a really solid plate approach and good contact skills, you're talking about a potential monster at the plate. Defensively, like I said, it's a little bit of a mystery right now. He may end up as a shortstop, but he also may end up growing out of shortstop. Scouts believe that as he continues to grow and put on muscle mass, he may end up somewhere else on the infield, third base, second base, hell, maybe even first base is thrown in there. Again, you play shortstop, you can pretty much play anywhere on the field, especially at 16 or 17. So it's not so much that he's not good enough defensively to be a shortstop. It's just that his physical profile may end up working out better in another position somewhere on the diamond. Overall, a really, really fun prospect to take a look at. A high ceiling switch hitter, which I think is kind of unique to this Red Sox organization, and a name that a lot of scouts put in their top 10 for international prospects, which, by the way, is the first time the Sox have done that in a little bit. I think over the last 2 years, the Red Sox have been kind of floating in that top 20, 25 range for their highest signed prospect. This one is top 10. Not that it really matters all that much when you're talking about 16 or 17-year-olds, just a little fun tidbit I'd throw in there. The Sox were able to lock up one of the bigger names in this year's free agent class. The second name I want to talk about is actually not the second highest paid player the Red Sox signed, but in fact, we're going to have to jump down a couple of pegs here to get to him, but this is one that I'm extremely excited about, and this is a 17-year-old pitcher by the name of Seidbel Delzine. I am not good with names, I apologize, but the reason I want to talk about him is because of the fact that he could be an extremely exciting pitcher for this Red Sox team. At 6'5", he's already reaching up to 94 miles an hour on his fastball, and that's with control. It's not like he's just hucking it in there and praying it hits the strike zone. He can kind of pinpoint that fastball a little bit, which is an extremely exciting talent to have at such a young age. On top of that, he's got a changeup that scouts absolutely loved. Sox Prospect called it a pitch with considerable potential, and a curveball that works really well as well. Plus, you add in a slider too. Baseball America, in their report of Delzin, also said that they believe he's already better than Dalvinson Reyes, who the Red Sox drafted last year, who has yet to allow an earned run in professional baseball. And Sox Prospects said, quote, displayed significant potential when signed, potentially the best for any Red Sox international free agent pitcher in recent history at this time. That is mighty high praise from Sox Prospects. Eddie Romero himself, the GM of the Red Sox, former head scout of the Red Sox in this area, said, quote, he's got one of the most advanced changeups we've scouted. One cross-checker calls it devastating. He saw it and said that can play right now. That is a ton of fun, right? We've been sitting here saying, where's the Red Sox pitching development? Well, last year they get Dalvinson Reyes, who looks fantastic. This year you get this guy who looks to be even better than Reyes. Yeah, I think that's a really good spot to be in. The Red Sox are shelling out legit money for legit pitching prospects, and that's a really fun thing for me. Again, this is probably the player I'm most excited to watch as he continues to develop through the Red Sox system, just because I think his ceiling is legitimately a front line of the rotation type ceiling. That is absolutely exciting for Red Sox fans, and it should be exciting for Red Sox fans. Now we're jumping back towards the top of that list and talking about the number 2 highest paid prospect the Red Sox signed over this last 24 hours, and that is Harold Rivas out of Venezuela for $1 million even. Harold is a 16-year-old center field prospect who Baseball America actually called more athletic and dynamic than Soto, not Juan Soto, Dorian Soto. I think the big reason for that is because on top of already showing well-advanced bat speed and exit velocity generation, to the point where Baseball America believes he could be a 20-plus home run guy at the major league level, which obviously isn't as high of a ceiling as Soto is, because he is a switch hitter with that advanced contact skill, as well as also being able to put up 25-30 home runs at the major league level. Harold is also extremely fast. He has a strong arm, so I believe scouts are saying, look, he's just more of a complete overall player than Soto is right now. Now, the big thing with Harold is that he's a little bit of a high-risk, high-reward prospect, according to Sox Prospects. A lot of people are a little bit concerned about his plate approach at this point in time. He does struggle mightily when it comes to off-speed pitches, like I said, right? When you're 16, 17, it's a little bit difficult to pick up on spin as much as, hey, if you were 19, 20, have spent 3 years in minor league baseball. It is definitely something he can work on, and if he can get his plate approach to a point where it's league average, he could be a really exciting player. If he doesn't, there's still a pretty decently high ceiling for him. It's a defensive first type center fielder who could stick at center field, who could go to left or right, who could play basically anywhere on the diamonds. But if he can get that contact approach going, and if he could figure himself out at the plate, again, you're talking about a guy who could have a ton of power, who could have a ton of speed, who could have a strong arm, and who could have average contact ability. That's a 4 or 5 tool player right there, folks. So you could kind of catch lightning in a bottle if you develop him correctly. If not, again, it's sort of that defensive forward type prospect that we see a couple of times, kind of like a Ceddanne Rafaela a little bit at this point in time. Outside of Harold, moving on, we've got Hector Ramos, a shortstop who signed for $450,000, and Eliezer Alfonso, a shortstop who signed for $700,000. The reason I'm putting these two into the same category in this conversation is because both of these guys are also switch hitters, which is kind of fun, right? Of the top 5, 6, 7 players the Red Sox signed, 3 of them were switch hitting shortstops. Again, not because they are all going to stick at shortstop, but because they were the most athletic at the time. It just makes sense, folks. I'm sorry to break it to you. For those of you who are trying to bang the drum that the Red Sox only draft shortstop prospects, I'm going to get off on a tangent, so I'm going to stop myself right there. The other reason that they are kind of lumped together is because they are both sort of contact forward type players. Both of them have a really, really solid overall hit tool. It's just sort of where the ceiling is that differs a little bit. On top of that, they also are both really, really solid defensively. They both profile out as really good defenders, but the difference between the two is that Alfonso right now is sort of profiling out as a guy whose max potential at the plate in terms of power is going to be more of a doubles kind of guy who every once in a while finds a seat, right? One of those players who is going to give you a lot of extra base hits, but he's going to give you, I don't know, 10 maybe home runs during a regular season. He's definitely going to be a contact forward type guy as he goes forward, but that all kind of depends on the frame, right? At 16, 17, it's hard to tell you what you're going to look like at 20, 22, 23, having played 4 years in professional baseball, so we could end up adding some power on. However, Ramos, on the other hand, already kind of has that sort of built-in power swing a little bit, where he still has that contact-oriented type approach, but he can put one out of the yard absolutely a lot of times. So his power is something that scouts are paying close attention to as he develops, but they are kind of similar players in the way that they profile out. Ramos right now simply has a higher power ceiling. And finally, the last player that we are going to talk about from this international draft is another pitcher by the name of Christopher Cordero, which again, I really hope I pronounced correctly, a right-handed pitcher who the Red Sox picked up for $400,000. This is another guy with a really, really solid fastball already for his age. Again, you're talking about 16 or 17 right now. He's topping out at 92 miles an hour. Again, this is a guy who has some control over these pitches, and he adds in a sharp curveball that Baseball America described as a well above average pitch. So already he's got two solid pitch offerings at 16, 17. Again, this is another guy who you want to talk about the Red Sox needing to bring in pitching talent to this pipeline. Could absolutely be a name that we pay attention to in 27, 28 as he continues to develop. Now, if you take a look at this class in general, really the only thing we could say about it right now is that it has a ton of potential, right? All these guys are lottery picks because we just don't know what they're going to look like in 6, 7 years when they're probably getting close to a major league debut or they're already in Major League Baseball. It's what happens every year, right? These guys are total mysteries right now, but there is a ton of potential in this draft class. In fact, Baseball America put them as one of the top 5 most exciting signing classes, draft classes, whatever you want to call them, in Major League Baseball. The Red Sox seem to have done a really good job here when it comes to what the potential of these players could look like. There are a lot of exciting names the Red Sox picked up over the last day, and who knows, right? The most exciting name coming out of this class may be one of those guys that the Red Sox picked up for $20,000, $30,000 as opposed to the guy that they picked up for $1.4 million. I mean, Brian Bayo was signed for what, $40,000 when he signed with the Red Sox? It is entirely possible. Most of the Houston Astros star pitchers were picked up for less than $100,000, right? It's such a crapshoot with these players, but it's also fun to talk about what the future of the Red Sox could look like, and these guys could absolutely be a major part of it. The Red Sox have done a really good job with their international classes lately. Franklin Arias, Yoel Cespedes, Delvinson Reyes, those are all guys and names that have come from these international classes recently who have really started to make a name for themselves in minor league baseball. So we'll kind of see what ends up happening with these guys. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this? Do you like the players that I mentioned? Do you not like the players? Is there someone that I did not mention who you saw a scouting report for, who you really like? Let me know all your thoughts on the current Red Sox international class in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It simply helps out a ton. It's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you want to listen to these episodes instead of watch them, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.